Harold Brown, he's the Farm Sanctuary Outreach Coordinator. Harold Brown was raised on a cattle farm in Michigan and spent half of his life in agriculture. As Outreach Coordinator for Farm Sanctuary, Harold is coordinating a campaign to encourage farmers to adopt sustainable farming practices. Harold Brown appears in Peaceful Kingdom, where he tells the powerful story of his transformation from beef farmer to vegan farm animal advocate. Please welcome Harold Brown.
Thank you. And I want to thank you all for being here and being so gracious. Thank you, Alex. I'm going to tell you right off the top, I don't have any answers for you, but I want to give you some stuff to think about. Agriculture and the path to liberation of animals in agriculture is a bigger problem than I think we really realize. And I'm a big picture kind of guy, okay? So keep that in mind when I talk about this a little bit. But we're globalizing our meat-centered diet through our free trade agreements, through NAFTA, GATT, which is now the WTO, and the FTA, which is now moving our meat-centered diet globally. This is a problem. But at the core of it, as a movement, I think one thing we kind of skate over, and we need to pay attention to, is we talk a lot about cruelty and suffering and so on and so forth in farm animals. But there's a more basic core driver to animal exploitation, and here it is, free market capitalism. That's what drives animals to be exploited in the way they are. It's profit. Nothing more than that. It's just building systems that are very efficient at producing the greatest amount of profit in the shortest period of time. That's what the biotech industry is about. That's what our land-grant universities are about in their involvement in animal sciences. And I think we need to really give that some thought. Do I have an answer to how we fix that? No, at the moment I don't. But it's something we've got to think about. Sure, we can figure out tactics and strategies to deal with different aspects of animal exploitation. But when we talk about liberation, you know, this is my take on liberation. Is liberation our goal, or is it animal rights? To me, they're two different things. At Farm Sanctuary, we liberate animals. Any of you could go to a fur farm, to a farm, whatever, take an animal out of that confinement system, and you've liberated them, and now they have a better life. But have you bestowed rights upon that animal? No. That animal has no more rights than it did yesterday, but it is liberated right. So, a couple things to think about. And I know in the last year we've got a debate going on about this whole idea of, well, what is the best way of approaching animal rights or animal welfare? To me, they're two different things. And we have to have the emotional honesty and the intellectual rigor to understand that they are two different things. Animal welfare is taught at every land grant school in this country. I took those classes. But yet we see a lot of people in the movement who see themselves something different than that, which is basically just finding more efficient ways of producing animals. But it's also about productivity, because if you take classes in animal welfare at the agricultural end of the spectrum, it's about not the individual interest of the animals, and actually that's actually what they argue against. What they argue for is whatever is in the best interest of the greatest number of animals is animal welfare. And what does that equate to? More profit. And we have to keep that in mind when we talk about welfare. Rights is another thing. Let me give you, this is the way I kind of conceptualize this debate. And again, Do I have an idea of what's better? Which path is right? I can't say that. I can't make that decision for you. I know what works in my life and the path I have to walk. But it's a question we each have to ask ourselves. But the way I look at it and conceptualize it is welfare. People do animal welfare. It's work that needs to be done. And God bless everyone that wants to do that kind of work. But it has a parallel in human culture. And to me, what that is that welfare is the same as hospice work. We have hospice workers among us who their job is going out and taking care of terminally ill patients, usually stage 4 cancer patients, and making their life somewhat more comfortable, or as comfortable as possible for what time they have left. And in welfare, that's exactly what we're doing. All these animals are doing is slaughter. Every last one of them. But what people do is they have a calling, they have a passion, their heart bleeds for these animals, as they should, as we all do, really. And it's about giving them what little comfort we can here and now for a patient that's terminal. It's going to end up being food for someone else. That's the way I see welfare. On the other side is rights. A little bit harder work. Because the way I conceptualize that is the equivalent to it are midwives. And midwives are people among us who are giving birth to new life. And that's basically what rights people are doing. They're giving birth to a new paradigm, to a new idea in society that it's basically a new life, because it's something that doesn't yet exist. And I think that's a good way of thinking of it. And these are important people too, because they're bringing forth a new idea, a new paradigm, a new life. We need both, I think. But we have to be honest about what we're up to. And own it. Because if we don't have integrity, then we don't gain the respect of the people we're trying to work with, or for, or in conjunction with. And that's the path we have to, decide we're going to walk down. But getting back to the global aspect of this, mark my words, within our lifetime, we're going to see what I call agriculture apartheid in this world. Whether you know it or not, in the non-industrial countries of this world, 70% of their population is farm. And because of the globalization of the Green Revolution, and how many people know what the Green Revolution is? Oh my God. Okay, the Green Revolution was the brainchild of, basically, that came out of the Second World War. It's chemical agriculture, short story. It's industrialized agriculture. Okay, well, that term kind of disappeared for a number of years, especially in the 90s. We didn't hear much about it, but it's resurrected. We're taking the Green Revolution to India, Africa, Asia, and we're displacing farmers. The one thing that we don't hear in the political debate here in the United States is we have this problem with these illegal immigrants coming up from the South. You ever talk to those people? Most of them are displaced peasant farmers. Our free trade agreement is creating agricultural refugees that are coming up looking for work. And now it's becoming global. In India, the suicide rate is astronomical. They have a section, their agricultural section, or what's called the Green Belt of India, is now called the suicide belt. Because farmers are being displaced off their land so damn fast that they're committing suicide at the rate of about 400 people a week. And this is just going to escalate over time. But we have to look at these free trade agreements. There's nothing free about it. There's nothing fair about it. This is a human problem as well. So as you can see, I'm a big picture kind of guy. These are larger questions. These are larger concepts. But I think we have to keep an eye on that and not get caught in the minutia of the little things that go on. That, we become kind of myopic at times in our activism. And But the bottom line about agriculture is it's focused on profit, but the most important thing that you can do, because bottom line with agriculture is the food supply system. In the United States, we have in fact lost the democracy of our food. 0.8% of the population of the United States farms. Of that 0.8%, this is according to the USDA, 18% of those farmers produce 66.6% of all food in the United States. That kind of consolidation, corporate consolidation, has never been seen at any time, at any other scale in human history. We have to pay attention to this. We are talking about a system that's fixed, both legally and at the corporate end of it. It's a rigged game, folks. And we've got to act locally. We've got to act at the grassroots. This is something that's going to trickle down from above, and we're going to change by some great leader or some great legislation. We have to create a societal change where people are going to have a change of heart and mind to care about animals, so we can make a change on a national and global level that will create the food system to supply us what we want.